Hi, friend.
Hello, friend.
And this is going to be a part two of Tarot Oracle from the Lost Girls
Yay.
podcast.
Hooray. I'm your host, Maria.
I'm your host, Neva.
Hooray. Welcome back.
Welcome back. So, think favorite cards?
Yeah. So in the last episode, we talked about our favorite decks. Um, and we just each shared three tarot specific decks that we liked. We covered the difference between tarot and oracle. And so for this episode, I think we're just gonna do like favorite cards, birth cards.
Yeah.
Um,
So, if you haven't listened to the episode, you might go back and listen to it because we might reference things.
right.
It's very possible.
Yes. Super possible.
What's your favorite card and why?
Oh boy. Um, so my favorite card for me is the Queen of Wands. Um,
Okay,
Mostly
sorry.
because is that not good? Is that bad? Is that
No, no, it's
also your
perfect.
favorite?
Continue.
Okay. Um, Mostly because the Queen of Wands is like very representative of like a strong, independent woman. She's the wands represents like fire, passion, emo I was gonna say emotions, but we know that's cups.
Yeah.
Um, but she's like a woman who's not afraid to speak her mind, and she goes after her creative talents, um, and just, kind of vibrant and getting things done kind of lady. And so I always feel like I aspire to be the Queen of Wands version of myself, if that makes sense.
It does. And would you like to know why?
Why is that, Neva?
Well, the Queen of Wands is one of my favorite cards because I want to aspire to be like her.
Holy shit. So I don't know if their mics are cutting this out, but we are cackling like the witches we are. Um, Amazing.
Yeah, when you say Queen of Wands, I'm just like, no way.
I can't believe that. And because like they're neither of our birth cards.
No.
No, it's just I just love that card. I'm like, oh, she's such a bad bitch.
I'm just, I feel like the Queen of Wands has very Empress energy,
Yeah, but
but
without
in
the
the
like,
minor arcana.
yeah. And it's like minus the mothering aspect of the Empress. The
Right.
Empress is very like mother energy, but also in that like bad bitch sit on a throne kind
Mm-hmm.
of way. But
Mm-hmm.
like in the Rider Waite, she's pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
Which is like, don't get me wrong, I have children. I am a mother.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
yes, I can, but that's not all I am.
Yeah.
And the Queen of Wands is like, no man, she's just a bad bitch.
Mm-hmm.
Like who gets shit done, goes after what she's passionate about. Yeah.
Yep.
She's a beacon for all creative ladies out there.
Yes. And then, I mean, I know I said favorite, but whatever. I'm gonna add another
Yeah, add
ten,
another.
the Ten of Cups because it's just so
Oh,
happy. It just like,
yes. Oh my God, that's like my other favorite.
oh, oh wait.
I can't. I can't. I cannot. I cannot.
So, okay, so what everyone needs to know is we did not discuss this beforehand. We just said, here's what we're going to talk about. And so this is like revelation that we're discovering together.
Insane. I'm crying. I'm laughing so hard. Oh my God. Yeah. I love Ten of Cups. There's a specific tarot deck. It's the like tattoo tarot. And
Oh
it's
yeah.
yeah, by a tattoo artist.
I've seen it. I don't own it, but I
Yeah,
know of it.
they are phenomenal. And the Ten of Cups is a couple, a man with dark brown hair and a woman with red hair looking out on their farm. It's like a farmhouse with like a house and a barn and all of this land. And there's like two little people running around. And I'm like, oh my God, that's just me and my husband
Oh
and
my
our
God. I love
farm.
that.
And I was like, oh my God, 10 of Cups. Um, that's amazing. I can't believe this. Wow. Anyway, maybe
Oh
we
my
should just go to
gosh.
birth cards because we at least know those are different.
Yeah. Although we did discover an interesting thing about our birth cards.
Yes,
So like yours are first, right?
right.
And
So
okay, so you
my
talk about yours first, I guess.
okay. Well,
Yeah.
my cards are the lovers and the devil. So everybody has two birth cards. Um,
Oh, should we explain how to figure out your birth card?
yeah, you explain
Might
that
be.
part.
Um, okay, so you take the date you were born. So let's say I'll give a fake birthday. Let's say I was born July 4th, 1990. That's not my birthday.
Yeah,
Um,
can confirm it is not.
you would, so July is the seventh month. So you take 7 plus 4, and then 1 plus 9 plus 9 plus 0. So do you math good?
I wasn't it's 11, 12.
You weren't prepared for a
I
math
was
quiz.
I was not prepared for a math quiz.
Let me pull
21,
7 plus 4 plus 1 plus 9
30,
plus 9.
30.
Okay, so that's 30. And so then
Fuck
whatever
yeah.
you get, then you add those numbers together again. So in this
3.
example, you'd go 3 plus 0, which would be
Oh,
3.
do you want to know what card that is?
What is it?
The motherfucking Empress.
Shut up. Everything is related.
Yeah, I'm laughing and wheezing. So attractive. Yeah.
Um, so you'd have the Empress, and then would you have 3 cards? Would you also have 12 and 21? How would that work? Hmm.
That's a good question. That part I am actually not totally. I've always just used an app to
Yeah,
figure
so
it out.
that's literally what I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
So, if you want to fast forward uh a few
Yeah.
seconds, we won't be offended.
Sorry guys. But anyway, so come to find out,
Oops.
everybody has two birth cards. Mine are the lovers and the devil, and Neva's are the chariot and the tower. But the chariot follows the lovers and the tower follows the devil. So our two cards are both paired in the
Yep.
major arcana.
Yep.
Which is
So
awesome.
I found our example. It would be 12, which is the Hanged Man,
Oh, okay.
the Empress and the Hanged Man.
That makes sense.
So, like, your birth card is kind of like overarching themes for your life, would
Yeah.
you say? Because
Yeah.
the whole point of the major arcana is that they are big, broad themes, whereas the minor arcana is like daily, day-to-day
Hmm.
sort of happenings.
Yeah. More specific.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what were yours one more time?
The lovers and the devil.
Yeah. Interesting thing about those two cards, which I didn't realize that those were a pair of birth cards. Um, when you look at the imagery, they both contain two people,
Hmm.
typically a man and a woman, unless you have a gender diverse deck.
Yeah.
Um, and in the lovers, like they are unbound and everything is happy, happy. And then in the devil, they are bound,
They're shackled. Yeah.
and so they're kind of almost like mirrors of each other, which makes
Hmm.
it even more interesting that they are a pair of birth cards.
I know. Yeah. It is a little nuts.
Yeah.
And those themes of, I mean, I want to say like love, but it's not just that.
Hmm.
Um, where like the lover's card is, yes, about love, but it's not just like romantic love. It can
Right.
it, it can be partnerships and um the love you have for any other person in your life, regardless of who that is.
Yeah.
Um, and it just kind of like represents that as a birth card, that love is like one of a person's core values.
Mm.
Which, I think for me tracks. I am extremely protective of the people I love. Um, I think my devil card comes into play sometimes because I don't love easily, and once lost is not regained. Um, so those have been very common themes in my life throughout. Um, so I think as birth cards, they absolutely track. And the devil is more about like almost the mirror image to the lovers, where it's about like
Yeah.
fear and can represent like addiction, um, and like being shackled. But in the card, the the shackles aren't like they're loose. Like
Yeah.
basically like you're in charge of your own fears.
Yep.
And you can let go of those shackles at any time. And even though like the devil, air quotes, is
Mm-hmm.
supposed to represent some like, mystical Luciferian person, it really just like represents you holding yourself back,
Yep.
your anxieties and your fears. And, you know, I have
Mm-hmm.
for sure have a ton of anxiety. Hey, yay,
But
mental health. Um, but like breaking free of those fears in order to persevere and keep going.
yeah.
So,
I've done readings for people and the devil will come out and they'll be like freaked out. I'm like, okay, so here's what you like, it doesn't literally mean the devil. It's all
right.
symbolic.
It's right. It doesn't mean like, oh my God, the devil's coming for you. Like, it's just an idea made up
Yeah,
in one specific book that
right.
holds no value or meaning to our current life. So, um, it's just hasn't even spits her water out. But yeah, it's just it's all symbolic and representative.
Yeah.
So I feel like I've very much come to terms with my birth cards. When I first got them, I was like, that's some bullshit. When I first looked them up, and I was like,
Yeah.
the lovers. So what? I'm just supposed to be romantic all the time, and I am not a romantic person. Um, my husband and partners have always been more romantic than I am, which is fine. I'm more logical
Yeah.
with really great mental health and definitely not crippling panic attacks.
Oh, it's
All
fine.
good. It's
It's all
fine. It's
good.
fine. It's fine. It's fine. But now I really love my birth cards.
Yeah.
So yeah, to the point where I'm like considering getting them tattooed on my body.
Oh, I love that idea.
Yeah.
You
So
know, I have considered at least the chariot. I don't think I'd want the tower tattooed on my body
yeah,
if I'm honest. Like,
yeah, probably
I
just gonna
think
get the lovers. Yeah.
I think I still need have some, whatever to
Yeah.
do. So yeah, my birth cards are the tower and the chariot.
Love it.
Um, the tower card, when I pull the tower, I think this is probably for anyone when you pull it's just like, goddamn motherfucker
Yeah, I think
is
yeah.
is pretty much my feelings because I think the tower ultimately has to fall. And you have to allow that to happen. You have to allow yourself to let go of whatever is holding you back, aka
Yep.
the devil card,
Yeah.
in order to allow the tower to fall. Because in most interpretations of the tower card, even though it's lightning strikes and people falling to their deaths, at the base of that tower is new growth. And so it's like, you have to let go of your comfort zone and let yourself fall into something new for something better to grow.
hmm
And that is still something that I am being comfortable with doing.
Yeah. I mean, no one's like, hell yeah, unexpected change. Let's go. Like, I don't know. I mean, if you're living like that, good for you, but that is a level of appended chaos that, takes a while to get used to and
Yeah.
adjust. So it's like, yes, the tower is terrifying. And like people who read tarot know that, like, okay, when you read tarot for other people, they're like, oh no, the devil, oh no, the death card. And we're like, girl, that is not I pull the
Nope.
tower, then you got something to worry about. I pull the
Right?
yeah, I pull the seven of swords. Okay. Like
Ten of Swords.
ten of
Well,
swords,
you're just laying there. You're dead now.
you're dead now. So congrats. Don't worry about the devil or the death card. They're fine. Um, but yeah,
Um,
but
so
I like
yeah.
that for you.
Yeah. So then the tower and then the chariot. And even before I knew what my birth cards were, the chariot was one of my favorite cards because it kept coming up in readings. And the more I um understood about it, the more I was like, okay, so like when I see this card, it's like a call to pay attention to where I'm headed, pay attention to how I'm balancing things, balancing my light and my dark. Um, like where am I headed? Is it where I want to be headed? Do I need to make a change?
Mm-hmm.
Is kind of how I feel about the chariot. There is like a sense of balance in that card, I
Yeah, well,
think.
because there's two, depending,
Two to the two
ox or horses or whoever,
sphinx
sphinxes
sphinxes,
pulling.
yeah.
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 Uh,
Um, but the cool thing that I like about the chariot card is whatever is pulling your chariot, like you don't have reins on it. Like
yeah.
you're trusting the path to take you where you need to go.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that also relates to just trusting to let the tower fall to take you where you need to go,
Yeah.
which is I'm still it's a work in progress.
Yeah. Well, it's such a like your cards are very like you need to learn to be water and just go with the flow.
Yep.
Because yeah, life just wants to take you on its own little journey.
And it has.
Yeah.
Honestly, like once I started just letting it, like lots of crazy, amazing shit has happened to me.
Yeah. I think that's amazingly representative of your path thus far.
My journey.
Your journey, your life journey. So that's awesome.
So
It is
yeah.
crazy. Yeah, one of my children, my oldest, has the same birth cards as me.
Ooh.
Yeah, which is nuts. So they are also the lovers and the devil, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I know it's coming your way, kid.
But you can like guide them through
Yeah,
that, you know?
yeah, and it's
But
they're
then it'd also be hard because then you can like and yeah.
yeah, and and it tracks because they're non-binary and a Libra, so like the balance of two is constantly something that they're struggling with, and I'm like, have you looked at your birth cards, child? Like, of course this is something.
Yeah.
Um, but they find it, they just like the fact that they match with mom. They're like, ooh,
Right.
it's the same birth cards as mom.
Yeah.
Uh,
Aw.
yeah, which is really neat.
Do you know what your youngest are?
I looked them up and then forgot, but I definitely remember being like, oh, that tracks because she's chaos. One of her, it might be yours. Um, I need I need to look this up. We'll come back to it later in the episode.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, kind of nuts.
While you look that up, I'll
Yeah.
talk about my favorite tarot app.
Ooh, yes, let's do that as
Yeah.
we're actively
Um,
using them.
yeah. Okay. So my favorite tarot app is called Labyrinthos, I think is how you pronounce it.
I'm pretty sure.
Um, I love this app. You can do a daily card pull, a daily dark card reading. It tells you, what they all mean. There's a place for a journal. You can also like just you can keep track of your own readings on the app. So like if you do a reading for yourself with your own physical cards, there is a place to do that. What I like it for is there's like a learn feature.
Ooh,
Uh,
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah. And so if you're like brand new to tarot, you don't know anything at all, um, it kind of it makes it like a quest and you start out as this little guy who doesn't know anything and you go through the lessons and you take quizzes and then you like gain experience points or whatever. I started it, but by the time I found the app. I'd already been reading for a while, so I didn't need to do all the things, you know. And so I mostly just use it for looking up meanings of cards
Yeah,
if I need like um
like an extra
reference,
reference. Yeah.
an extra reference or like a deeper something. And then they also sell their own decks, which are all absolutely gorgeous and beautiful.
Hmm.
I have one of their Lenormand
Yeah.
decks.
I was just gonna say, I like that you can choose which ones you read with.
Right. Um, which I only have the one Lenormand deck, and I don't know enough about it to speak on it extensively, but I enjoy it. Every
Mhm.
once in a while it calls to me and I'll use it, and it's not terribly often that it calls to me, but when it does, it's something that I needed to hear. So,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
awesome. I love
Yeah.
that. Yeah, that's a
Yep.
great app.
Yeah. That's pretty much the only app that I use, but I think Maria has more.
Yeah, yeah, I use a lot of apps. I like them and they're fun. I mean, yeah. Um, so one, I did look up my daughter's birth cards and then remembered why they were so insane. It's Death and the Emperor.
Ooh,
Yeah, she's a
I can
lot.
see that. I
Yeah.
can see that.
So yeah, Neva has virtually met my children, and my daughter is a Leo and also um on the spectrum, and just
And has decided that she loves me.
and has decided that she loves Neva. Also, her love is not like her mother, not easily given, and she makes snap decisions based on her gut about people. So she either immediately loves you or you are nothing to her. Um
So that just proves
wow.
that I'm an awesome human.
Yes, absolutely it does. She's like, "Oh, I love Neva." I'm like, "Great.
Like, where you're like,
Awesome."
you don't know Neva?
Yeah, she's like, "Pff, I know her." I'm like, "Okay, never mind. Cool. Enough for me, kid." Her gut's never been wrong. So, yeah, she she's a force to be reckoned with is definitely a good way to put it. I love when I go in for parent teacher conferences and they're like, "She's very spirited." And I'm like, like I'm a teacher. You can tell me she's an asshole. Like,
It's that teacher code.
yeah, that's teacher code. I know what spirited means. She's extremely social. I'm like, yes, yes. She never shuts up. Yeah. About her special interests or anything else. Um, but yeah, I feel like Death and the Emperor are transformative, powerful cards, and
Yep.
she is certainly a transformative, powerful personality.
Yeah,
Um, yeah,
definitely.
yeah,
The few like the brief minutes that I've ever interacted with her,
yeah,
like the
right?
total of 1 minute over the course of a year.
Yeah. Just runs in, says hi, runs away.
Like she's cool, I like her, bye.
Yeah. She's like, all right, yeah, this one's okay. You can hang out with Neva. All right, thanks, Gemma.
Do you just have her like vet everyone.
I know. I really should. She's such a great litmus test for people. You know,
Like no, no, yes, yes, no, 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 no.
yeah, I know. She did not like my mom's mom. Um, right. Like even as an infant, like would cry if she held her, all the stuff.
Yeah,
And she's for all intents and purposes a really terrible person. Um, and I never liked her either. And she
yeah,
always made me feel poorly about myself growing up. Um, and so I have, no fun, fuzzy feelings about her. And so when to have Gemma as a even as a baby be like, ugh, no, I do not like that woman. She didn't want to be held by her. She didn't want like nothing. And I was like, vindication.
yes.
Yes.
Love that.
Yeah.
Love that.
So, but yeah, I feel like, birth cards can really represent your path in life. But
Yeah.
right, apps.
Apps.
So, apps. One of my other favorite apps, which is very easily accessible, especially for new people, is Mystic Mondays,
Mm.
which I like. They have a tarot deck, which is very modern and like colorful and clean cut, which I like. Um or some people like. But you can pull a card a day. You can also pull like an animal a day, a crystal, and it gives you like the meaning of that card, and you can journal in it as well for like what that card pull meant. But it's like that's all it does, and it's very simple and straightforward, um, and colorful. So it's good for that. As far as like I have like astrology apps that I like,
Oh yeah, I have
but
astrology apps.
yeah. Um, but and some of them include tarot as
Oh,
part of it. So Sanctuary is one that I feel like combines the two pretty well. There's a lot of tarot, um, you know, functions in it as well as astrology, and it kind of links the two, which is nice. But Labyrinth Oath that Neva was talking about is like one of the best ones. I really like that one. And again, we'll link all of these.
yeah.
Um,
We
yeah.
are not being paid by anyone.
No, we're not. We're like 4 episodes in and like 10 people listen, so no one's sponsoring us at this point. If you're interested in sponsoring the Lost Girls podcast, please contact us on any of our social media accounts. Thank you. But yeah,
Do we have time to talk about Oracle decks?
I think we do have time to talk about Oracle decks.
Okay, I would love to do that.
Hell yeah.
If you did not listen to the first episode, go back and listen, and I explain in the beginning the difference between tarot and oracle decks. So, I do not have my oracle deck with me because my friend who is a photographer is taking pictures for my Kickstarter, and so she has my deck
Yeah. Hooray.
currently.
Okay.
But I have some other decks here.
Fantastic. Do you want
I
me to start or do you want
Yeah,
to start?
you start. I think I started last time, so you can
You
start
did.
this time. Yeah.
Okay. So the first Oracle deck I have is actually one I got semi recently. It's called Woodland Wardens by Jessica Rue.
Ooh.
She is an amazing illustrator, and she wrote and illustrated the book Floriography.
Okay.
And it's all like the language of flowers, and all it's like all her illustrations and like what those flowers meant if they were put in bouquets and
Ooh.
together. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, it's very cool. So I'm ripping the guidebook out. The cards are all an animal and flower pairing, each oracle card. So this one is the mouse and the buttercup, and it
Oh, wow.
represents innocence. And it says that on the card, which I like.
So at the very top, is that a zero?
Yeah, so that's the
So
very first,
similar to the Fool.
extremely similar to the Fool.
Love that.
Yeah.
There, I have you found, I mean, I found that there's often a lot of overlap, I think, in the like messages or meanings behind cards between tarot and oracle. Like I'll get an oracle card and it will be the lovers or
Yeah,
whatever. Yeah.
absolutely. Especially I think in the major arcana because they're
Yeah.
so vague.
Well, and they're
And
so what's the word for it? Um,
it's like the hero's journey.
right. Yeah.
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 So the illustrations are beautiful. The guidebook is like so in depth and gorgeous and has, recommendations for things. So this one is the Martin and Foxglove. And it represents
Oh.
mischief. Yeah, and they're just like really beautiful paired animals and plants. Which I just love. And you're like, oh, I can see how that animal pairs with that plant.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's, just it's a different take on an oracle that I haven't seen before, and it's,
Mm-hmm.
really beautiful. Um, and I like that, she's the illustrator and the author, and it's
Mm-hmm.
all flora and fauna. So that's one of my fave go-to oracles now.
Love
Um,
that.
yeah. What about you?
Okay, so the first one I picked out was also kind of a new one to my collection. I can't remember the name of the deck, but I think the artist is Linda Fabry. I think that's her name. I'd have to look it up. I could find it real quick. I started following her on TikTok months ago, and what she does is every day, or most almost every day. Actually, I have one of her original artworks right here. This she sent this with my deck. Um what she does is she just takes some craft paint and kind of like splotches it on a paper and then wipes it up and then creates an artwork.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So this is the original that came with my deck. And so what she did was she took those and turned them into an oracle deck.
Oh, wow. I love
And
that. It's so
so
pretty.
it actually, there's no guidebook for this deck because all of the meanings are on the card.
Yeah. I actually
Um,
like that for
but
an
there's
oracle deck anyway.
right. Um, but I just they're beautiful. And so I got her deck and she also she has a similar offer to me. That's like an intuitive art.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but hers is more like a spirit reading, intuitive art sort of thing. But I thought her deck was beautiful and yeah, this is one of my favorites. So,
Yeah, I really like that.
yeah.
Okay. Um, so my second favorite is this deck called Women of Myth.
Ooh.
Yeah. There's also a book, like an actual book that goes along with this, that you can purchase separately. There is a guidebook in the Oracle deck. And it's a very like large, amazing deck. So there's a
Wow.
little the book that goes with it.
That's a chunky book.
It is a chunky, thick book. But it covers women of myth from all different sections of the world.
I love
So
that.
this one is the corn mother goddess. She represents the seed, and it's a very like Native American spirit.
That's
Um,
gorgeous.
yeah, and in the book it goes into which culture each of these myths is from and how they were represented, or more likely how they were misrepresented. So, which is so amazing and
Yep.
just speaks to, um, speaks to how women have been represented in myth and culture, you
Right.
know, disingenuously. So this is
Mhm.
Kitsune. She's the trickster. She's
Oh,
obviously
that's way cool.
a Japanese myth.
Yeah.
And it's just it's so wonderful. If I'm reading for women or women identifying people,
Hmm.
then I always pull an oracle or try to from this deck because
Hmm.
it's I feel like so powerful, and I don't like I refuse to read for men from this deck.
Yeah.
Um
Yeah. No, I think
yeah,
that's awesome. I like that.
yeah. But anyway, I really like that one. So
Yeah.
yeah, go ahead.
Um, my second one is actually probably my newest deck, and I haven't had time to like really sit down and get to know it. But freaking phenomenal. So I think I sent you a link to this guy's stuff.
Yes.
Spirits and Shadows and Oracle deck by J. Edward. Um,
Oh, so pretty.
so because I have created an Oracle deck, I'm now looking at all of my decks with through a different lens.
Hmm.
I like how he did his. He did a lot of things that kept the cost down, and I think that's really cool. Um, but did not take away from the deck itself and everything. So, you know, these are all original paintings done by the artist. There's not a guidebook included because it was designed to be read intuitively, but there is one that you can like download. So this one is Ascension.
Oh my God. That card, the
I
artwork is
know.
really so powerful. It just
Yes.
looks powerful.
Yeah. And I haven't, oh gosh. Okay. Awakening.
Oh my goodness. I would love
Yeah.
that.
Um, so apparently, I don't know how many more copies of this deck are available because some Chinese company has gotten a hold of them and are making cheap knockoffs.
which happens to a lot of indie creators that get semi-popular, which is
It's
horrible.
it's a big problem.
Mhm.
And there's not much you can do. I mean, intellectual property right happens the moment you create anything,
Mhm.
it automatically belongs to you. You don't have to fill out any sort of paperwork or pay any fees. That is your intellectual property immediately. And, unless you have a giant publisher behind, or even if you do have a giant publisher behind you, these companies still will make knockoff decks for cheaper. And for like, yeah, that could be a whole podcast episode
Yeah.
in of itself. Support the original creators. That's all I have to say.
Yeah.
Um,
Most of the time they are independent artists or from a disenfranchised community. So, yeah. You
ooh, okay, look at this. Door of Dreams.
Oh my God. It's so like it's just so beautiful.
Yeah.
It-
Yeah, so I'm waiting for the right, like when I have the time and the energy to like really sit down and like do a deck interview on this deck. And so right now it's just sort of like hanging out,
Mhm.
absorbing the energies of my room. Um but yeah, honestly, if you're buying a deck for $10, that's a knockoff deck.
Right. Yeah.
And I
Uh,
know they're expensive. I know they are, but like support the original creator. Don't buy the knockoffs.
Yeah.
It just encourages them to do it more.
Yeah. Agreed. So my last Oracle deck is called the Moon deck. Um,
Ooh,
which is not to be confused with Moonology, which is its own Oracle deck.
separate thing. Yep.
Yes, two different things. So this is the Moon deck. Um, and I love it. It has like little quotes inside the box
Hmm.
too.
I love
But
those.
oh, me too. I'm like such a sucker for a good inside box quote.
Yes. Same.
I'm just like, ooh, yeah. Show me what you got. Um, and it comes with like a really nice guidebook. Um, but what I love about the cards, I mean, they're both gorgeous on the back and
Oh,
also the
nice.
front, but they have little almost like mantras on them. So, I'm just like flipping through them. Ooh, here we go. This is gorgeous. Um, ah, oh my goodness. And this is the one that I pulled originally. So now is the time to integrate all that I have gathered. And it's like a woman kneeling over reeds,
Yes.
with a glowing light. It's very like harvesty energy.
I love
Um,
that.
yeah, but I love that they come with like a mantra on them because then I use them a lot for like meditative pulling.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to do a meditation, I will pull a card and then I can meditate on that mantra with some
Hmm.
music and it's kind of amazing. So this one's like movement awakens my creative spirit. And it's like a semi-thick red-headed woman holding up the moon. I can't imagine why I would relate to that card, but
Oh, that's gorgeous.
yeah, and they're all like that. They all have these like really and just the messages I
Oh
think,
my gosh, that's beautiful.
yeah. So that's I allow
Oh,
stillness to heal and reveal. And it's just a woman sitting on a branch in front of the moon.
that's
So they're
awesome.
they're simple but
Hmm.
extremely useful and powerful, which
Yeah.
I love. Um, and I think they're useful, particularly for meditations. So I like that. And fantastic inside box quotes. Can't go wrong.
Yes.
Love that. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. My last one?
Yeah.
Okay, so the last Oracle deck I chose to share, it's called Sacred Sound Alchemy.
Ooh, that's so many fun words that I like.
Um, oh, this one also has fun things on the inside. It says, listen to the sound of the universe.
Ooh, I love that. Would you say
So,
are you like a sound somatic kind of person?
yes, and I'm still kind of figuring that out,
Mm-hmm.
but it's definitely something that I feel kind of like drawn to.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, because I am a musician and I am a music educator, and I've always been like, music heals people, you
Mm-hmm.
know.
Yeah.
And if there was any sort of music therapy degree offered anywhere near me, I would be all over that.
Yeah.
Um, but anyway, so this deck, it's kind of a composite sort of deck, you know, where they take a lot of different images and kind of
Oh, okay.
put them together.
Nice. Yeah.
Similar to what's that one called? Like the Starseed Oracle.
Oh, yeah. I
Yeah,
have
so
that one.
so
Yeah.
similar in design to that, but all very music related. So there's like different sections. So like this one was ancient Greece, and so then there's other like different ancient peoples. Oh, this one's beautiful. I haven't had this deck out in a while. This one is crown chakra.
Oh. Oh, and it gives you a note, B note.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
So sometimes, and then there's hertz, other or different kind of instruments. So there's wood.
Oh my goodness. They're like dulcimers. I don't even know what those are.
Yeah. So sometimes if I need to compose some music and I need some inspiration, I'll just like pull a card like, okay, this is going to be in the key of D
Yeah.
or whatever. But honestly, I sometimes do that with just tarot cards too. I'm like, okay, what kind of vibe should I just need to do it like a quick little exercise? Like, what
Mhm.
kind of vibe do I want this little melody to have?
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. And gave me a really great idea for a birthday present for my husband, who is also a musician.
Oh, um, frequency. And then there's also, you know, like uh keywords at the bottom, and there is a guidebook that goes with this.
Yeah. Oh, I really like that.
So, but yeah, I got this one directly from the creator's website. So
Hmm.
this indie deck, but made like really well.
Yeah.
So,
I
so
love that.
yeah.
All right. Should we do a card pull from an oracle deck?
Yeah, I
Okay.
think it's your turn.
Is it my turn?
Yeah,
Okay, cool. I am going to choose one of the Women of Myth cards.
love that.
Yeah. Um, because yes, because I want to. So these are oh so gorgeous. Oh, okay. Oh, nope. Never mind. Not that
Hmm.
one. All right, awesome. So the card I pulled, oh boy, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to pronounce this, but it's Treyu Theatrine. It's the heroine and the rebel.
Ooh,
Yeah,
ooh,
I know. So she
interesting.
is badass looking. Um, oh, I love that like Morgan Le Fay is a card in here. That's okay. So she's a Vietnamese woman who led a rebel army in battle while riding on top of an elephant. Um, against the occupying Chinese, and she is regarded locally as a national and legendary heroine. So that's like her myth.
Nice. I
Yeah.
love that.
And the card meaning is like, do not bow, do not break. You're on the precipice of a breakthrough. Transformation is on the way. Do not lose faith in yourself. Take all necessary steps to get to where you want to be. So thrive despite your circumstances. And I love that. Like on the card, she has like the most battle ready face I've ever seen.
Yes,
Um,
that's
and
awesome.
it's truly, truly amazing. So
Love it.
yeah, I
That's
like it.
awesome.
But that's our card for today.
I love it.
Yeah. Should we do what's bringing you joy this week, Neva?
Something else that's bringing me joy. Um, you know, Tuesday was early bird open mic, and I open on Tuesdays. And since it's starting to warm up, it's starting to get very like popular and very busy. And my friend who closes on Tuesdays, she's always been like, you know, if you ever need help, just text me and I'll be there. Well, I sent her an SOS, but she was on a date. And so I managed the whole thing myself and it was hella busy, but I did it and yeah.
I'm
So
so
it
proud
just
of you.
it's bringing me joy that I'm an okay bartender.
I think you're probably a phenomenal bartender.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I'm also working on taking compliments and acknowledging them and not just like ignoring them.
Right. And being like, sure, okay, go away with your nice thoughts.
Your nice thoughts hurt me.
Your nice thoughts. Oh my God.
What's bringing you joy?
What's bringing me joy this week? My coworkers are bringing me joy this week.
Yeah?
Yeah, so I am a high school teacher. Um, and I teach technology education, so I'm in a department of all men. One of whom is my husband, which is hilarious. But we've just had a lot of like reorganizational things happening, structurally and curriculum wise. And I feel like as a department, we've just been working together really well and they value my input, which is really nice.
Yeah,
Um, and everyone has just been like, we've been really vibing.
that's awesome.
Yeah. So it's just been nice to have that. We're all operating at peak social efficiency with each other. Um,
Nice.
yeah. And it's nice to plan like where we want our department to go and what we want it to represent for our students. So it's been great.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Awesome.
thankful for. But
Well, that is end of our part 2 episode.
yay, thank you for listening. I know we went a little long on this one, so if you
Yeah.
stuck it out, we really appreciate it.
And yeah, it'll this one will be available for free on our Patreon too. Because this
Yeah,
one's very
because
visual.
it is, yeah.
Yeah.
So this one, part one and part two.
Yep. But if you want to see the rest of us and what we look like in the other episodes, because we don't always look this nice,
We really don't. The first episode, I literally look like I'm dying and I'm in my bed.
come see how ratchet we look.
Yes. Come see how ratchet we look. Thank you for listening. Check us out on all the socials and see you
See you
again
next
next time.
time. Bye.
Bye.